Let me tell you a story. It's fall of 2021. I'm 16, sitting in the hallway outside of my English class with a grown man. I'm just waiting in anticipation for what is about to go down. I am extremely nervous. My heart is pounding, I'm sweating, my mind is racing. But the thing is, I'm not nervous for something that I have to do. I look over to my left and see that this grown man is just as, if not more, nervous than I am. You see, the thing is, this isn't any grown man. It's my best friend. He's 16 as well, but unlike me, who barely weighs 140 pounds, he is 180 pounds of pure muscle and can already grow a beard. This day was the day that a lot of people were dreading in my class because it was the final day to submit a project for this book that we've been reading the entire semester, and this was the culminating project. I had submitted my project 3 days ago. It was this music instrumental that had a lot of different sections and a lot of different emotions because I did a voiceover with it, and it illustrated the different sections and the different changes that the main character goes through throughout the book. So I felt fine. I was not nervous for me. But the thing was, my best friend was about to do his presentation. Now for my friend, he made a song as well, but the thing was, he didn't have an instrumental, he didn't have a beat. He just had a bunch of lyrics, and he was about to sing it to the teacher with me standing there, completely a cappella. I look over at him and ask him if he's ready to do this, and he says completely no, but let's just get it over with. So eventually the teacher comes out, sits in the hallway with the notepads, and lets him begin. After about a 10-second pause of silence and a deep breath, my friend starts singing. I am legitimately holding back tears because I was laughing so hard while watching my friend sing this song. He was completely freestyling it, so he had his lyrics, but he had no particular rhythm that he was singing them in, and his pitch, he pretty much sang in every single key known to man, and the look on the teacher's face when he started singing was priceless. After what seemed like a decade, my friend finally finished his singing this song, and I give him a reluctant round of applause, while the teacher still looks shell-shocked from what she just had to witness. We were assigned a week to create this whole project, and initially my friend started creating a comic. He's a really good artist, really good drawer, and pretty creative when it comes to making things like this. And he'd worked on this for 5 days, worked on his comic, and he was pretty close to getting it done. Then when I finished my project a couple days early, I showed it to him, and he had inspiration from mine, and he's like, okay, I like yours. I don't want to do a comic anymore. I'm gonna make a song. But with only 2 days to actually finish it, so he didn't really put a lot of time into it, and it was really rushed, and that's why he had to sing it with no instrumental because he didn't have time to record anything. So he tries to rush through making this thing in 2 days, but he doesn't get it fully complete, so he just had to freestyle it. I ended up getting a 95 for the instrumental and the voiceover, while my friend got 65 for his freestyled a cappella song. He could have done so much better with his comic, and he was pretty much finished it. He just had to add a couple other things, but because he saw what mine was and he listened to the project that I made, he decided that he wanted to take inspiration, pretty much just copy exactly what I'd done and do it himself. Because he directly compared his project to mine, he felt the need to change it. This moment made me realize how much we are always comparing our own ideas and our own creations to that of other people's. In turn, it makes us feel so much worse about what we actually create because we see someone, especially if they're in that phase when it's finished, compared to ours that's just getting started, and we feel like we need to make something exactly like theirs. Although this story doesn't have anything to do with social media, it illustrates the problem that social media causes for a lot of creators. Social media is ruining your creativity, and here's why. My name is Kobe Wallace, and I'm helping songwriters all over the world access their true creative potential through improving the rest of their lives. Social media is an amazing thing. It allows us to share things we do and things we create with other people all over the world. Nowadays, most artists come up and most artists get successful through growing a fan base on social media, and this means that you don't have to be signed to a record label anymore to actually succeed in music. With that being said, the majority of people don't use social media that way, and they don't use it as a marketing tool to get their own music out there. Most people spend hours scrolling on social media, just watching videos, texting other people, checking people's stories, and just wasting time. Not only does this cause us to waste a good majority of the limited time that we have on this earth, but it also causes us to be always doing one specific thing: comparing ourselves to other people. See, there are parts of our brain that are always comparing what we believe about ourselves and what we think about ourselves to what we perceive other people to be, and it doesn't know the difference between people in real life and on social media. So when we go on social media and see people who are traveling or people who are like at the beach and like doing all these things, and we're just sitting at home on our phone, naturally we feel inferior to them. When I was in middle school, I didn't have a lot of friends, and I was extremely addicted to social media, Instagram in particular. So I'd always be at home, or even at school, I'd just be scrolling on social media and just seeing everyone else like hanging out with their friends or doing cool stuff. I'd always felt worse when I'd see someone I'd know doing something with other people, because I didn't have that in my life. So naturally I felt inferior to other people because of that reason. In terms of social media, there's a lot of amazing content out there. But the thing is, when we're always consuming on social media, naturally we believe that our creation needs to look like exactly what we're inspired by. We get too caught up in trying to replicate and copy things that we see instead of being inspired by them. If we see a certain song that's blowing up and getting a lot of listens, naturally we try to replicate and make something exactly like that. And when it's not exactly like that, we feel worse about ourselves because we couldn't create exactly what someone else made. It's natural to want to emulate the success that we see other people have, but the problem is we get too caught up in trying to copy exactly what we see on social media as creators. So many times I've got caught up with trying to create something like a song that I like, and I end up producing literally a blatant ripoff. This used to happen all the time when I was first getting started writing songs, because the first genre of songs that I wrote were actually metal songs. The only reason I know how to play guitar is because I learned because I wanted to write songs. I've been playing drums for about 3 years before I started to pick up guitar, and it was solely to write metal riffs and write songs like Metallica and Pantera and Megadeth, because that's what I loved at the time. So naturally, listening to a song that I like, I'd naturally try to come up with a riff that's exactly like that, or exactly something like James Hetfield would come up with, and try to make it exactly the same. And I was literally just producing shitty Metallica knockoffs. And obviously, a 14-year-old kid, at least not me, is not going to be as good as trying to write Metallica riffs as Metallica is, because I'm not Metallica. I'm a 14-year-old kid who's trying to do something like this. And there's nothing wrong with trying to take inspiration from this, but I was too caught up in trying to create something exactly like that. Now, it's great to draw inspiration from places, but constantly being on social media and constantly always consuming content is never going to get you anywhere. So what is the alternative? If you were to ask me who my favorite artist is, without a doubt I'd tell you it's Tyler, the Creator. He has one of the most diverse catalogs of music that I have ever seen. From his provocative and controversial rap albums that he produced as a teenager and kicked off his career, to his R&B and neo-soul masterpiece that won him his first Grammy, Igor, Tyler has always held true to one thing. He's always held true to being himself, and it's been extremely amazing to watch his evolution as an artist. No matter what Tyler is interested at the time, he always goes all in pursuing it and just focuses on creating something that he's interested in. There's a kind of authenticity in his music, in his clothes, and everything he creates, because he genuinely loves to create and he genuinely loves his creative process. He has always held true to just being himself, and look at where that has gotten him. If you want to be successful as an artist, you need to embrace yourself for what you are and what you want to become. So many people are insecure about what they want to make and what they actually want to be like as an artist, and instead of pursuing that with everything that they have, they just try and pursue something that they think other people will like. If you want to stand out, you need to be willing to be different, and you need to create something that only you are capable of producing. I'm not saying don't draw inspiration from different things, but don't just try and copy the latest trend or what you think is going to get views and listens, because that's only going to get you so far. You need to be willing to let yourself create, not create something that someone else is passionate about. Create something that you genuinely like and are genuinely interested in. See what you can uniquely come up with, instead of trying to rip someone else off and trying to just create exactly something that they like. In terms of drawing inspiration, this means you need to reduce your consumption though. You can't always be scrolling on Instagram and expect to come up with something new if you never take some time to figure out what you can come up with. There's this rule that I love to talk about, and it's called the 80-20 rule. If you want to be an artist, Your 80-20 rule should come with your creation and your consumption. 80% of your time should spend creating something new, creating something that you're interested in, whether that's making beats or music or recording videos or just working on stuff you want to do. And then the other 20% of your time should be spent consuming and getting inspiration from other places. And a lot of people, their 80-20 rule is completely backwards. 80% of their time is spent consuming all these random things, and then 20% of their time is spent creating, and they wonder why they have no new ideas. But when you're always just consuming from other people and you have no time to actually sit with yourself and see what you genuinely like, then it's no wonder you can't come up with anything new. I've been traveling around New Zealand for the past couple weeks, and I've had the chance to meet some really interesting people and have some really eye-opening conversations. A couple weeks ago, I met this guy from India who is now living in New Zealand, and he was traveling in a new city, and I met him at one of the hostels I was staying at. And we had a really eye-opening conversation about being authentic to what you want out of life. He told me that back home in India, when he was thinking about leaving, everyone wanted to stay. No one wanted him to leave and go find a new life for himself in this new place. He felt, though, that in order to live the life that he wanted, he needed to leave. He needed to go find something different. He needed to chase this dream that's authentic to him. He explained how it was extremely hard to leave and how at first when he got here, he was extremely homesick and wondering if he made the right decision. But eventually, as he spent more time here, he knew he did, because it was what his heart genuinely wanted. It was what he genuinely wanted to see for his life, and he felt he would have just been stuck living in the same way and doing the same exact things if he just would have stayed and never pursued his dream in this new place. This is the mindset you need to have when it comes to creating music. If you want to create something amazing and something new, you need to be willing to step out into that new place and go somewhere where you've never gone before. See where your craziest idea can take you. What inspiration do you have? What thing that can you make that no one else can, because you're genuinely pursuing something that's authentic to you. The thing is, if you want to go to that new place and you want to create something amazing, there's going to be people who may not like it and people who won't like it, but you need to be okay with that, because nothing new is just going to come from copying what everyone else does. The only way to succeed creatively is to embrace yourself and pursue your wildest idea with everything you have. Never stop creating, my friend. See you in the next one. Why is there a plane flying over every single time I try to record a video? This is like the fourth one that's flown over.